It's no secret that the new live-action Snow White movie is getting destroyed by everybody for its woke approach. Disney in general has just been getting annihilated by fans, critics, and everyone else for the extreme woke approach to the majority of their movies now. Snow White, starring Rachel Zegler, is no exception to this rule. Now we have David Hale Hand, who is the son of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs supervising director David Dodd Hand, and what his thoughts are on the new live action movie. Now, David Hale Hand, who is now 91 years old, the son of the director of the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, said that even Walt Disney himself would disapprove of these productions. Now, according to Entertainment Weekly, it says that Hale told The Telegraph that he stands in strong opposition to the new movie. Quote, "I mean, it's a whole different concept, and I just totally disagree with it. And I know my dad and Walt would also very much disagree with it." He continued saying, "There is no respect for what Disney did and what my dad did. I think Walt and he would be turning in their graves." Now, these are very strong opinions by a man that is very closely related to the original movie. Walt Disney classics. Walt Disney himself, I feel, went a completely different direction with their movies that the current Walt Disney Productions teams are doing today. And clearly, it's not been working out. I myself grew up a Disney fan. I grew up with the classics. I grew up with even some of the movies from the late 90s, early 2000s, and I love them. I can no longer support a company that is going down a road destroying what Walt Disney had built and what they had stood for. Now, Rachel Zegler, who is playing Snow White, made a comment a ways back saying the reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago and therefore is extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in the role of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we come to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. Now again, that's going down that whole woke rabbit hole of feminism and eliminating the prince, totally changing the story. The Seven Dwarfs are no longer dwarfs. They're just hobbit type men and women, and the whole thing's just gone crazy. Now, David Hale Hand continued saying even more about it, and that he wishes that the Disney classic movies would remain untouched, calling it a disgrace for trying to do something new with something that was such a great success earlier. Now, Hale continued saying, "I'm afraid of what they're going to do with the early films. The company's thoughts are just so radical now. They change the stories, they change the thought process of the characters. They just aren't the original stories anymore. They're making up new woke things, and I'm just not into any of that." You know, and I fully agree. I don't care what your standing is in politics. It shouldn't be brought into movies, especially when you're working for a company or a company that is making movies for families and children to enjoy. This is something that I feel you just need to focus on your audience, not politics, not who's paying you to put what in movies. You need to focus on your audience, and Walt Disney, unfortunately, is not focusing on the audience and what they want. That's why their ticket sales are down at Walt Disney World. That's why their ticket sales are down at the theaters. That's why people are starting to boycott them. They need to get back to the drawing board. Go back to your audience. Go back to the people who help build your company as big as it is, and focus on them. Now, Disney's going to have to realize this in order to turn the business around, to get the fans back, and to avoid possible bankruptcy. If they keep going down this road, they're going to lose everything. You need to realize what you're doing now isn't working, and you need to go back to what does work, and that is the audience. As always, leave your thoughts and comments down below, hit that like button and subscribe button on your way out.